Bette Midler once performed nearly naked in a basement bathhouse singing to men in towels while high on drugs. She took LSD 15 times and popped amphetamines just to stay awake for her wild late night shows. Police raided the place 3 times, but she kept performing until 4 a.m. That fearless woman married a stranger after 6 weeks and built an empire worth millions. But in January 2025, fans gasped when they saw her. She appeared in a wheelchair, wearing dark sunglasses, barely able to stand. The transformation is heartbreaking and shocking. Bette Midler was born on December 1, 1945, just months after World War II ended. She came into the world in Honolulu, Hawaii, but it wasn't the paradise most people imagine. Her father, Fred, painted houses for the Navy and barely made enough to keep the lights on. Her mother, Ruth, worked as a seamstress. They were so poor that Betty later said, "It wasn't just tough, it was survival." She once told a reporter that it was that hunger for more that made her leave Hawaii for New York. She was the third of 4 kids squeezed into a house that had no extra space, no extra money, and no room for dreams unless you fought for them. Life wasn't gentle, and neither was her father. They lived in a mostly Asian neighborhood in Aya where her family stood out in every way. She was Jewish, pale, loud, and different. Her mother named her after the famous actress B. Davis, though she mispronounced it and gave her a name that stood out even more. That difference didn't bring admiration, it brought isolation. She was bullied, left out, and made to feel like she didn't belong. She found peace not with people, but with nature. She would talk about the sky, the sea, the flowers, and the bugs like they were her only friends. And in a way they were. They didn't judge her. They didn't shut her out. At home things were even harder. Her father wasn't just strict. He was cruel. He hated anything to do with show business and treated her passion for it like a sickness. When her sisters tried makeup, he flushed it down the toilet. When her sister Susan came home late, he locked her out. Her younger brother, Daniel, had brain damage, and their father would scream at him daily while trying to teach him to read. He told Bet she looked like a loose woman and refused to see her perform even when she was famous. He only ever watched her once on Johnny Carson. That kind of rejection cuts deep, especially when it comes from the person who raised you. But even with all that darkness, there was a spark in her. She started singing when she was 3. Her voice echoed through their tin shower where the acoustics turned the bathroom into her first stage. Sometimes the neighbors gathered outside just to hear her. Others yelled for her to stop, but she kept going. Her mother, despite their struggles, saw something in her. She signed B and her sisters up for dance and music lessons even when they could barely afford food. It was her silent rebellion against her husband's tyranny. She wanted at least one of her daughters to have a way out. At Radford High School, Betty didn't fade into the background. She became class president. She was named most talkative and most dramatic. But she also battled deep body image issues. At one point she weighed over 200 pounds, and her classmates didn't let her forget it. They teased her, insulted her, made her feel like her body was something to be ashamed of, but she didn't stop acting. She didn't stop dreaming. And when she graduated in 1963, she did it as valedictorian. She started college that same year at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. But the classroom wasn't where her heart was. After 3 semesters, she dropped out. She had one goal: to leave Hawaii and make it big. She took on degrading jobs to save money. One of the most surreal was working as a go-go dancer at a pineapple cannery. She also sorted pineapples on factory lines. It was sticky, repetitive work, but she kept her eyes on New York. She arrived in Manhattan on December 15, 1965. Just 19 years old with only 35 I. dollars in her pocket. She checked into the Webster Hotel for 12 a week and survived on peanut butter, sandwiches and tips from coat-checking jobs. She even stole toilet paper from public bathrooms just to get by. She auditioned for 47 shows and got rejected over and over, but she never gave up. In 1966, she finally got her break. She was cast in Fiddler on the Roof on Broadway, playing Seidel. But it wasn't the dream she'd imagined. She earned just $85 a week and lived in a tiny apartment with 5 other actors. The bathroom was shared. The roaches were everywhere and the heat was unbearable. She slept on a fold-out cot. Her feet bled from dancing. She performed 8 shows a week for 3 years straight, but she learned everything she needed to know about stagecraft there. Then came something unexpected. In May 1970, she started performing at the Continental Baths in Manhattan. It was a gay bathhouse, hidden in the basement of a hotel. She wore only a towel and heels and sang to men lounging in steam rooms. The air was thick, the lights were dim, and anything could happen. Her pianist was Barry Manilow, who made $35 per show. She made $50, sometimes more, with tips. She performed there till 4 in the morning. Even after Broadway shows, police raided the place 3 times. She kept performing. She called it her graduate school. Drugs were everywhere during those years. Between 1967 and 1969, she took LSD at least 15 times. She smoked marijuana before shows to ease her nerves, but sometimes got too paranoid to go on. Once she performed while still tripping from the night before, watching the stage melt around her. She also took amphetamines just to stay awake for all her late-night gigs. But after a terrifying acid trip in 1970 where she thought she was losing her mind, she quit cold. In 1969, she got her first film role in Hawaii, a huge movie starring Julie Andrews. It should have been a triumph, but it turned into disaster. On her first day of filming, she forgot her lines 5